ignore the camera, and you and I are just going to chat.
Well, sure.
First thing, the hardest question of the whole interview I always like to ask first.
Right.
How do you spell your name?
Nissen, Ken.
Is that with one N or two?
One.
K-E-N.
Yeah.
That's the hardest question I ask.
Okay.
How old were you when you enlisted in the Navy?
20 years.
20 years old.
Yeah.
What year was that?
1942.
There used to be a lot of stigma about the PT boats. I think they called them mahogany coffins.
Well, they can call them that, I guess. And we didn't really realize how expendable we were until they started burning the boats when the war was over.
Ah.
So they didn't intend to take any home.
Huh. Were you excited when you got orders to report to a mosquito boat?
Well, I asked for it, so I couldn't complain or anything else. And I think that's about the last time I ever volunteered for anything.
What was the appeal for you to, what was so attractive about it?
Well, my dad read the thing on Bulkley taking MacArthur out of the Philippines, and he thought, by golly, I ought to try the PTs, so I did.
What was each morning like?
What part?
What was each morning like? How did the day start?
The day's start was in just chow. We came in the morning to a base, and we were strictly running at night. The airplanes took over in the daytime.
Not many of these were equipped with radar, were they?
Perhaps not to begin with, but everybody had radar by the time we got it. We got our radar before we left the factory.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So, and you said you were on an Elko version.
No, I was on a Higgins, just like this one.
There's the other guy that was on the Elko.
Yeah.
Was there a little bit of rivalry between the two boats?
Oh, you know, it's how guys are. Boy, mine's the best. Yours is. We can run circles around you, and the heck they could.
Well, they all pretty much had the same power plants in it, didn't they?
They had exactly the same power plants in them.
Yeah. But these were just slightly shorter than the other ones. I think the Elkos were like 83 feet, and these were...
The Elkos were 80, and we were 78.
That was it. It was off by a couple of
feet.
In the movie PT-109, they depict a scene where they're coming back from a run, and they race for the fuel dock. And of course, the transmission gets stuck. And in the movie, of course, it's dramatized. They plow the boat right into the docks.
Well,
did you guys really used to do that?
It did happen, but it really wasn't the engines reverse. We had grass green skippers. Some of them came from Iowa. Never seen anything any bigger than a rowboat. And it took a little while for them to really be able to handle a boat. But one of the things that stories I like about the running back from patrol, we'd run in a straight line. The guy in the back gets wet. We swing the rooster tail over his bow. He's a little PO'd, and our skipper got it one time, so we were down working on hot engines the minute we got in tied up.
Now, Chuck tells me that you had a little secret, that you figured out how to override the governors on the engines to get a little bit more speed out of them.
Well, they're overspeed cutouts, and there's a button on top of them you can hold down, but we never got up to top speed in order to do that. Out in that hot country, and we're idling all night and on patrol, back and forth, and it just carbons them up something fierce. That's why we ran full top speed on the way home in the morning, kick that carbon out.
Were you ever scared?
Well, people ask me that, and I tell them that I wasn't scared when we were under fire because I was too darn busy. But the next night afterwards, we saw something on our radar and we snuck up on it. And what I wonder if we're going to go up and kiss it or what. And the skipper shook me up and no, it's a gunboat. It wasn't our boat, but boy, that was scary.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
Better than having a destroyer cut you in half.
Yes.
Are you still today impressed with the craftsmanship of how they built the engines and how they put these boats together?
These engines are beautiful engines inside. Yes, I've never seen one any better.
What's the most dynamic thing about them? I mean, is it the sound of the idle? Is it that?
Yeah.
Is it that drone when you get them in sync or nearly in sync? What?
They all cackle, and that's exciting. Yes, especially if you're going 2,500 like it's supposed to.
What's the fastest you ever managed to get out of your engines? Do you know the?
We got about 2,300 RPM, and that's running around close to 40 knots already. They're rated to go 2,500, but we couldn't quite make that.
Just checking the tape count. Okay, we're fine. When was the first time you saw this boat? How many years ago?
About 17 years. We brought, it was more than that actually. Yeah, about 17 years. We brought it up from San Francisco Bay. And it was a mess when we got it.
Did you feel like you'd ever get it done?
Not really. Not really.
Is it done yet?
Yeah, well, no. There's a lot of stuff that we want to do to it yet. But we're passing it on to the younger guys. I don't work on it much anymore.
As I was driving up here, some 13 hours of road time to shoot this story, I got thinking about this because I knew that some actual vets of the Second World War had been working on this project. The thought came to mind, are you concerned, I mean, eventually you guys will pass and that first-hand story of the experience will be gone.
Yeah.
Are you concerned about the artifacts being lost so that the history starts to fade?
Yes, we collect everything we can find. Somebody comes down and hey, I've got this flag, or you know, we take anything we can find and try to store it, preserve it. We've got an engine. I guess I don't know how far down it is, but we have somebody working on one engine now. We have a spare.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you worried that people will forget what the Second World War was really like, or how much was on the line?
I'm sure they do, but we're trying to tell them about our part of it as much best we can.
Do you think this is the best way to do it?
Well, it sticks a little better, yes.
How so?
Well, if you see something concrete and have a picture in your mind, then you remember it much far longer and more. We've had hundreds of people coming to see the PT boat. It's been a big draw. And that's what we are doing with it. We're going out and put it on display, more or less, just what you see here.
One more question for you. When those old turbo Packers fire over and it ambles up to life, and you're in that engine room, does it make you feel young again?
Oh, no, I don't think it'd take quite a little bit to make me feel young, really. But when we first started that first engine, we didn't have it in the boat yet. It was kind of funny. We were in Withicum Army base, National Guard camp. And we were ready to put things up. We were going to turn it over. And the guy that's running their museum there is, oh, well, wait till I can get back and get my VCR camera. Oh, we're not going to, just going to turn it over. Well, that sucker turned over twice and away she went. We honest, Mother, we didn't know it was going to run.
Are you worried? You've put a lot of care and love in this boat, nearly 20 years.
Yeah.
What, your tour of duty was what, 2 years maybe?
You mean in the Navy?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were supposed to stay out on the islands about a year. I did come back about a year before the war was over.
So, a year and a half on board the boat, and you spent 20 years rebuilding the history of it.
Yeah.
Seems kind of funny, doesn't it?
Well, we worked on it 2 days a week, about a half a day a week, half a day each, making about a full day a week working on it. And I had taken some down. My buddy didn't. He got kind of confused and got the ignition on wrong. We had to get by that, but we have some very good manuals. If you've been in the service, you know that service speak is covered now 1, 2, 3 step type of thing, and that helps.
Are you worried that the next generation that you're handing it over to won't have the same connection, therefore the same passion about this that you guys?
No. We're very fortunate in the people that we've got volunteered for us. And I have no compunction whatever that turned the engines over to them. They're doing a bang-up job.
What's your favorite part of the boat?
Favorite part of the boat? I guess the engine room. I haven't got any more sense than that.
You still get down the ladder to work?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Maybe I'll meet you down there for a while.
Okay.
Hopefully I can.
Great.
Thank you so much.
You're sure welcome.
Anything you want to tell viewers about this that I've missed?
No, I think you covered it pretty well. Thank you.